Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the event safety and information video for the upcoming Convict 100. After a couple of false starts, we're really excited to getting you all down to St Albans this weekend for a terrific day of mountain biking action. A few things I want to go over. I'll try to keep it brief. If you can stick around and watch the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Firstly, before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional custodians upon whose land we will be meeting and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. A couple of thank yous to go through before we really get into things. Our event sponsors who have been a terrific help in us putting on the event are Hawkesbury City Council, Mountain Culture, Ground Effect, Tailwind and Retreat at Wiseman's. Thank you to all those organisations for your sponsorship of the event. Also, a special thank you to all the guys and girls from St Albans RFS who will be out on course in force, manning all the checkpoints, providing the assistance out there for you. Make sure you say hi to them as you go along the course, and more generally to the St Albans community. Thanks for having us back. Once again, your cosy, quiet little hamlet becomes a buzz of mountain biking activity for one weekend a year, and we really appreciate you all letting us enjoy your beautiful part of the world. If you haven't already, I ask that you all have a good read of the event program before the coming weekend. That was sent to all registered riders 2 weeks out from the event. It's also attached to the email that this video is attached to. It's available on the website, so if you haven't seen it, make sure you have a good read of the event program. That'll cover off a lot of the logistical aspects of the event. How do I get there? Where do I park? Where do I collect my waste bib? All those sort of things. All that information is covered in the event program, so I recommend having a good read before Saturday. Most importantly, in this video, I want to talk about safety. The Convict is held in a very remote location. There was 100 kilometres of mountain bike track that is marked for the event. That means there was 100 kilometres of hazards. Everything that could possibly go wrong can go wrong on this course, so you need to be paying attention at all times, riding to your ability and being conscious of how long you've been out there, and as fatigue sets in, how that impacts your ability to ride. So ride to your ability, come home on the bike having not hit the deck, and you're guaranteed a good day. If you hit the deck, we can help you out, but make sure you try to stay upright wherever possible. In saying that, there's hazards in every kilometre of the course. There are some locations where as you ride, you'll come across some hazard or warning signage that we've put up when course marking. Things that say warning, slow down, warning, steep descent, warning, obstacle ahead. They've all been put there for a reason. So please, when you see those signs, pay attention, be alert. There is a hazard that we've identified as could potentially catch out some riders in the next little stretch. So really pay attention to that signage as you go. One of the big concerns on any mountain biking event are when there's long descents where riders can build up a lot of speed. Especially for this event on the 100 kilometre course and on the 68 kilometre course, there are those long descents. For the 100 kilometre course, about 15 kilometres to go, you'll come down the large Blue Hill track down onto the valley floor. There'll be a lot of warning signs as you approach it, letting you know. It has recently been graded and improved after the extreme weather last year, which means it can be tackled quite fast. Problem with that is there are some large water bars that have been cut into the track to help divert the water across the track. And they can be natural launching points if you are not paying attention and you hit them at high speeds. So you'll be able to collect some speed going down that hill, but get on the brakes as you hit those water bars. Otherwise, you could find yourself flying through the air when you don't want to be. Conversely, on the 68 kilometre course, just after the second aid station where the 100 kilometre riders split off from yourselves, you'll go along a track called the 8 mile. Towards the end of that track, before it drops down into a valley, you'll see a sign on a tree saying private property, and also some other event notification signage about the fact that you are entering private property. From that point on, for about the next kilometre and a half, the track gets quite steep. It also is a bit rough, a bit overgrown, so pay attention when you're going down that track before you hit the paddocks at the bottom. Just pay attention to that. That's for the 68 kilometre riders. Apart from that though, there are some sections of single track on the 68 and 100 kilometre course, which can be quite rocky, some rock gardens, things like that. So pay attention, ride to your ability in those spots. Also for all riders, the first climb for this year up Jack's track, nobody's favourite climb, and this year especially it's going to be quite slow due to some damage along that track. It hasn't been graded like some other tracks after the weather from last year, so it is quite eroded, rocky, things like that. So pay attention when climbing up Jack's track. Thankfully you're going up that hill, so you'll be going quite slow. Another very important safety aspect is traffic. For all courses at different times, you will be riding alongside any traffic on the roads. We're in a very quiet part of the world, however, there will be vehicles moving about on those roads. So whenever you're on a road, stay left, ride in single file, give way to any traffic at any junctions. There are a couple of locations where you are going to be coming downhill from a fire trail onto one of the two main valley roads. We're going to be putting up some give way signage there. Pay attention to it, respect that give way signage. There'll be marshals there as well looking out for you, but don't expect that just because there's a marshal that they have stopped all the traffic. Pay attention to that give way sign and give way to any traffic. It will be tempting to hold a large amount of speed through the junction and shoot out onto the wrong side of the road. Please don't do so. Get on the brakes at the junction, stay left, and you'll be fine. Another interesting part of the Convict 100, which is a favourite for a lot of riders, is the kayak bridge. The kayak bridge is on all three courses this year. It is 3 scaffolding planks wide. It means you can just aim for the centre plank and ride across. As we say, if you can ride a footpath, you can ride across the kayak bridge. It's all very mental having water on each side of you. However, if you do not feel comfortable riding straight away, you can stop at the aid station that's at the kayak bridge, have a look at the other riders crossing, and then approach it once you feel comfortable. If you aren't comfortable to ride at all, wait for a gap in the flow of riders and walk across the bridge. Absolutely no problem with you doing that. If you are out on course and you come across another rider that has hit the deck and they've got some medical issues that need assistance, we ask that you stop and provide that assistance. Stop, help the rider, provide any assistance you can. Maybe grab the next rider that comes along, make a note of the number of the rider that is injured, so that rider can then pass that number along to the next marshal point, aid station, whatever they come along, and the nature of the injury along with the location, so that marshal point or aid station can radio in. We can then determine an appropriate first aid response. There'll be plenty of first aid teams out on the course, placed at strategic locations everywhere, so they are there to help you if needed. Let's hope you don't need them. We ask that you take all your rubbish with you. We want to leave St Albans and the Convict course as we found it. That means on the course, no throwing gel wrappers out, leaving any litter from the food that you're eating as you go, taking that with you and disposing of it at the aid stations or at the finish line. And likewise, in the camping and the parking areas, take all that rubbish with you. We don't want to have any rubbish left behind. There's plenty of bins in St Albans, or as I said, take it home and dispose of it as well. If we can please ask all riders to really respect the other riders on the course. If there is faster riders behind you, especially on narrower sections, that are obviously hankering to get past, let them pass. If you are a rider coming up behind a slower rider and you would like to pass, please politely ask for the ability to get past, and at the next opportunity, I'm sure the rider in front will get aside so you can keep going. In some of the technical sections or up some of the hills, if you do need to get off and walk, and a lot of you will at different points in time, please try to walk off the riding line. Let the other riders that are riding continue to do so, and you walk away from the riding line. That can be especially true along the narrower sections along the old Great North Road on the 68 and 100 kilometre course, and going up Jack's track, which I mentioned earlier, for all riders. So if you do need to get off going up Jack's track, and a lot of you will, stay to the left so that those riding can ride. When talking about that as well, some of you will be on e-bikes, and we welcome you all to the event. It's great to have you along. It's becoming increasingly popular. We asked when starting on an e-bike, due to the fact that Jack's track is quite early into the course, maybe aim to start a little bit earlier than what you normally would in the group. This means that you are with some faster riders when you hit Jack's track, which means more of them will be riding. You're likely to be riding using the power of the e-bike to go up the hill. So it means you're not disturbing the slower riders who are more likely to be walking. So that's just for the first 5 or 6 Ks. Up Jack's track just helps move the crowd along through there. Speaking of the starts, all riders will be doing the river crossing north of St Albans. There is not a bridge there or anything like that. You will be getting your feet wet. All right, it's only for a few meters. It's less than knee deep. You will just be getting your feet wet. So pay attention to that. Probably best, because it is quite sandy as well, get off, carry your bike across, back on, and keep riding. So that will be within the first few kilometres of the event. The course has been very heavily marked, or is in the process of being heavily marked. Lots of pink tape, red on white arrows, and red on white wrong way signs. Keep following the pink tape, pay attention to the arrows, don't go down any track that's marked as wrong way, and pay special attention at the split points for where different distances turn different locations. So after you cross the kayak bridge and exit the farmer's paddock onto the road, 44 kilometre riders will turn left to go back, where both 100 and 68 kilometre riders will turn right. And then at the second aid station at the top of the 8 mile, 100 kilometre riders will continue straight ahead, while 68 kilometre riders will turn left and head for home. Look out for the signage in those 2 locations so you make sure you're on the right course. And lastly, for the 100 kilometre riders only at that second aid station at the top of 8 mile, that's 47 kilometres into the event, you need to be through there by midday. If you are not through there by midday, you will be directed onto the 68 kilometre course. If we allow you to keep going from that point, that's only 47 kilometres into the event, after midday, in all likelihood, you're going to end up still on course as the sun sets and it goes dark, which is not something anybody wants. So just remember, there's that cutoff on the 100 kilometre course. Apart from that, pay attention to any last minute updates that we might need to send out. We'll email them out if needed. Otherwise, enjoy your last couple of days before the event, and we look forward to seeing you down at St Albans. Thank you.